Every spring, a gardener walks out to their lemon tree with a pair of sharp pruners, feeling responsible. They shape it, they cut it back, they tidy up all that messy growth from last year and step back to admire a clean, neat tree. And in that one satisfying afternoon of work, they quietly destroy their entire harvest for the year. They do not know it yet. The tree still looks healthy, but the fruit they were counting on is already gone, cut off and tossed in the green waste bin without them ever realizing it. This is the single most common reason healthy lemon trees refuse to produce. Not pests, not disease, not bad soil. Pruning. Specifically, pruning the way you would prune an apple tree, a rose bush, or a hedge. When a citrus tree is none of those things and follows completely different rules. Let me show you exactly what is going wrong, because once you see it, you will never make this mistake again. Here is the fact almost nobody tells you. Citrus trees, including every lemon variety, produce most of their flowers and fruit on the outer canopy, on mature wood that grew during the previous season. That outer layer of older, established branches is your fruiting wood. It is where the flower buds form. It is where the lemons hang. And it is precisely the part of the tree most people cut off when they prune for shape. Think about what that means. When you go out in spring and trim the tree into a tidy ball, removing the long, leggy branches that stick out past the canopy, you are not cleaning up the tree. You are amputating next season's harvest. Those awkward outer branches you find so untidy are the exact branches that were about to flower. The neater you make the tree look, the less it produces. There is a brutal irony there, and millions of backyard citrus growers fall into it year after year. Now compare this to apples and pears. Those are palm fruits. They produce on short structures called spurs, and they genuinely benefit from regular, fairly aggressive pruning that encourages new spur formation. So the standard advice everyone absorbs, prune your fruit trees hard every winter, comes from the world of apples and pears. And it is dead wrong for citrus. Citrus is not a palm fruit. It does not fruit on spurs. It fruits on the outer, mature wood. Apply apple tree logic to a lemon tree, and you get a beautiful, vigorous, completely barren plant. The University of California Master Gardener Program and the University of Florida's Citrus Extension both say the same thing, and it surprises almost everyone who hears it. Citrus needs very little pruning, far less than most people think. A lemon tree left almost entirely alone will usually outproduce one that gets a thorough annual haircut. The instinct to constantly shape and tidy is working directly against the tree's biology, but it gets worse, because there are two specific kinds of cuts, and most people make the wrong one. The first is called a thinning cut, removing an entire branch back to its origin, opening up the canopy. The second is called a heading cut, cutting a branch part way, snipping off the tip. Heading cuts are what most home gardeners instinctively make, because that is how you shape a hedge. And on a citrus tree, a heading cut does something destructive. It triggers a burst of new vegetative growth, a flush of soft, leafy shoots right behind the cut. That new growth is not fruiting wood, it is baby wood. It will not flower for a season or more. So every heading cut you make tells the tree to spend its energy growing leaves instead of making fruit, and it pushes your harvest further into the future every single time. There is a clue your tree has been giving you, and you have probably been misreading it. If your lemon tree puts out tons of vigorous green growth, long, whippy shoots, lush leaves, a tree that looks incredibly healthy, but produces hardly any fruit, that vigorous growth is the symptom. A tree pouring its energy into leaves and shoots is a tree that has been pushed into vegetative mode, and aggressive heading cuts are one of the most common triggers. The healthier and bushier it looks, the more suspicious you should be. Then there is timing, which is the second half of this mistake. Even gardeners who prune lightly often prune at exactly the wrong moment. They wait until spring, when the weather warms up and they finally feel like getting in the garden, which is the precise window when the tree is forming its flower buds. So, they cut off the buds just as the tree is making them. The blossoms that should have become your summer lemons are sitting on the ground in a pile of trimmings before they ever opened. And one more cost, the one nobody warns you about. When you over-prune a citrus tree, you strip away the leafy outer canopy that shades the trunk and the main branches. Citrus bark sunburns. In hot regions, across the American South and Southwest, the Mediterranean, anywhere with strong summer sun, exposed bark on a freshly over-pruned tree can scald, crack, and become an entry point for disease. So the tidy little tree you created in spring can be carrying actual wounds by midsummer. So if hard annual pruning is the mistake, what is a lemon tree actually supposed to get? Because the answer is not never touch it. There are a few cuts that genuinely help. The trick is knowing which four and avoiding everything else. Let me walk you through the only cuts a lemon tree actually needs. There are 4. Everything beyond these 4 is usually doing more harm than good. The first cut is dead, damaged, or diseased wood. This is the one type of pruning you can do almost any time of year, and it is the one that genuinely helps every tree. Look for branches that are brown and brittle inside, bark that is cracked or peeling, or any limb showing signs of disease, dark sunken patches, oozing, dieback at the tips. Cut those back to healthy wood. A branch that is already dead is doing nothing for the tree except hosting fungus and pests. Removing it is pure benefit. The simple test. Scratch the bark with your thumbnail. Green underneath means living wood. Leave it alone. Brown and dry underneath means it is gone. Cut it. The second cut is suckers and water sprouts. And this one is critical, because most lemon trees are grafted. Down at the base of the trunk, usually within the first several inches above the soil, there is a graft union. It often looks like a slight bulge or a change in the bark. Everything above that union is your good fruiting lemon variety. Everything below it is rootstock. A different, tougher citrus chosen for its roots, not its fruit. The rootstock constantly tries to send up its own shoots, called suckers, from below the graft. If you let those grow, they steal energy from your lemon variety and can eventually take over the whole tree. You end up with a vigorous, thorny tree producing sour, useless fruit you did not plant. Remove every sucker that appears below the graft union, as low and as close to the trunk as you can, the moment you spot it. This is one of the few cuts that directly protects your harvest. The third cut is crossing and rubbing branches. When 2 branches grow across each other and rub, they wear through the bark, create open wounds, and invite disease. Pick the weaker or worse placed of the 2 and remove it cleanly back to its origin. Notice the language there. Back to its origin. That is a thinning cut, not a heading cut. You are taking the whole branch off where it starts, not snipping it in the middle. This is the difference that decides whether your pruning helps or backfires, and it is worth being absolutely clear about. A thinning cut removes an entire branch right back to the trunk, or to a larger parent branch. It opens the canopy without triggering that explosive regrowth. The tree accepts it calmly. A heading cut chops a branch partway along its length, leaving a stub. And that stub responds by firing out a cluster of new vegetative shoots right behind the cut. The leafy, non-fruiting growth we talked about. So the rule is simple. When a lemon tree genuinely needs a cut, thin it. Remove the whole branch at its base. Do not head it. Do not snip tips to shape it. Shaping by tip snipping is exactly the apple and hedge instinct that wrecks citrus. The fourth cut is light canopy thinning, and the key word is light. If the center of your tree has become so dense that no light reaches the interior and air cannot move through it, you can remove a few entire branches to open it up. Better airflow reduces fungal disease. A little interior light helps. But this is a scalpel, not a chainsaw. You are removing a handful of whole branches to create gaps, not reducing the size of the tree. As a rule of thumb, never remove more than about 10 to 20% of the canopy in a single year. Citrus does not bounce back from heavy pruning the way other trees do. It sulks, it pushes vegetative growth to recover, and it skips fruiting while it does. That is the entire list. Dead wood, suckers below the graft, crossing branches, and a little light thinning for airflow. Notice what is not on the list. Shaping the tree into a ball, cutting it back because it got too big, tidying the outer canopy, heading every branch to make it look neat. All the things that feel like responsible gardening, and all the things that quietly cost you fruit. Now the timing. Because doing the right cut at the wrong moment still hurts. The worst time to prune a lemon tree is right as it is about to flower, or while it is flowering, because that is exactly when you remove the buds you are trying to grow. For most citrus growers, the safest window is just after the main harvest, once the bulk of the fruit is off the tree and before the next big flush of growth and flowering begins. In mild Mediterranean and southern U.S. climates, that often falls in late winter to very early spring, after the worst frost risk has passed, but before the spring bloom kicks in. The exact week depends on your local climate, so the principle matters more than the calendar date. Prune after fruiting, never during budding, and never prune heading into a frost. A fresh cut and a flush of tender new growth are both vulnerable to cold damage. If you prune late in autumn, you risk stimulating soft growth right before winter arrives, and that soft growth gets killed by the first hard frost. Wait until the cold danger is mostly behind you. One more piece, and it matters most for anyone growing a Meyer lemon in a pot, which is most container citrus across the United States and Northern Europe. Potted lemon trees need even less pruning than ground-grown ones, not more. People assume a container tree must be kept small and constantly trimmed to fit its space. But every cut you make to control size is a cut that triggers regrowth and delays fruiting. A potted Meyer lemon will fruit far more reliably if you resist the urge to shape it and instead manage its size through root pruning and pot selection, which is a completely different process from cutting the canopy. We will come back to exactly how to handle the potted ones in a moment, because they have one more trap waiting that the in-ground trees do not. Here is the trap waiting for potted lemon trees. People bring them indoors for winter, which is the right move in any cold climate, and then they prune them at the same time because the tree got leggy reaching for light by the window. That is the worst possible combination. The tree is already stressed by low indoor light, dry heating system air, and the shock of being moved. Cutting it on top of all that pushes it into pure survival mode. It drops leaves, it stalls, and it certainly does not flower. If your Meyer lemon comes inside every winter, leave the pruners in the drawer until it goes back outside in spring and recovers. One stress at a time. Now, what if you have already made this mistake? What if you are watching this and realizing you have been giving your lemon tree a hard haircut every spring for years? Here is the good news, and it is real. The tree is almost certainly not damaged permanently. Citrus is forgiving. The fix is mostly a matter of stopping, of doing less, not more. Starting this season, put the pruners away except for the 4 cuts we covered. Dead wood, suckers below the graft, crossing branches, and the occasional light thinning for airflow. That is it. Let those untidy outer branches grow. Let the canopy fill out and look a little wild. What looks messy to you looks like fruiting wood to the tree. Give it one full season of being left alone, and you will very likely see flower buds forming on that outer growth you used to cut away. Buds that, for years, you were removing before they ever had a chance. The recovery timeline is straightforward. In the first season after you stop over-pruning, the tree puts on outer canopy growth and begins setting buds on that maturing wood. By the following spring, that wood is mature fruiting wood, and the bloom is noticeably heavier than anything you saw during your pruning years. From there, with only the 4 maintenance cuts each year, the tree settles into a steady, generous rhythm. Most people are stunned at how much more fruit they get simply by doing less work. The hardest part is psychological, fighting the urge to tidy. A few practical points on the cuts themselves, because how you cut matters almost as much as what you cut. Use sharp, clean tools. A clean cut heals fast. A crushed, torn cut from dull pruners is an open wound that invites disease. And sterilize your blades between trees, and especially if you have cut into anything diseased. A simple wipe with isopropyl alcohol or a dilute bleach solution between cuts stops you from carrying citrus diseases from one branch or one tree to the next on your blades. This is not fussy. Citrus diseases like canker spread exactly this way on contaminated tools, and a 30-second wipe is cheap insurance. Cut just outside the branch collar, that slightly swollen ring where a branch meets the trunk or a larger limb. Do not cut flush against the trunk, and do not leave a long stub. The collar contains the tissue the tree uses to seal the wound, so cutting just outside it lets the tree close the cut properly on its own. And skip the wound paint and sealants. Research has shown for decades now that pruning sealers do not help and can actually trap moisture and slow healing. A clean cut in the right place, left open to the air, is what the tree wants. And wear gloves and long sleeves. Many lemon varieties have thorns, some of them serious, and the rootstock suckers below the graft are often the thorniest growth on the whole tree. Protect your arms. Let me bring this all the way back to where we started, because the core lesson is almost insultingly simple, and that is exactly why so many good gardeners miss it. A lemon tree is not an apple tree. It is not a rose bush. It is not a hedge. It fruits on its outer mature wood. It needs very little cutting, and the single most damaging thing you can do is treat it like the other plants in your garden and give it a confident annual haircut. The instinct to tidy, to shape, to take control. That instinct is the mistake. The most productive lemon trees in the world, the centuries-old ones still loaded with fruit along the Mediterranean coast, are not the most carefully pruned. They're the ones nobody ever got around to over-pruning. So this year, when spring comes and you feel that urge to walk out there and shape your tree into something neat, stop. Make only the 4 cuts that help. Leave the rest. Let it look a little unruly. Then wait, and let the tree show you what it does when you finally stop cutting off its harvest. If this finally explained why your healthy, leafy lemon tree has been refusing to give you fruit and saved you from making the same cut again this spring, type the word GROW in the comments and hit the like button. It tells me to keep making videos like this, and it helps the channel reach other gardeners who have been working hard every year at the one thing quietly costing them their harvest. Put the pruners down this season, just for 1 year, and let me know how much fruit you get. I will see you in the next one.